Hey guys, hope you're all well. Right, next little bit on the Enfield. I don't know how far I'll get today because I am actually waiting on the fixings to put the engine into the frame. So if they turn up, there's a good chance we might get that done. I don't know yet, they might not turn up. But I am waiting for a couple of bits now. And I haven't got an Harley to mess about with in between, so we'll just have to do little bits and bobs. So some of these videos for the remainder of this build might be really short, or they might be my usual sort of half-hour-ish, but I might as well share absolutely everything I'm doing because it's all part of the journey, I guess. Someone did put a valid comment actually, why I'm making the engine heavier if I've got to lift it into the frame. That absolutely valid comment, I guess. It's not that hard, to be honest. All I do, basically, when I'm ready to do this, is get one of them jacks there onto the bench, lift the engine onto that jack, sort of slide it over into place. Sometimes there's a little bit of jiggling to do to get the cylinder head past this part of the frame, and then basically just jack it straight up in. It's not like, you know, trying to get a great big 4-cylinder into a cradle frame. That can be a pain on your own. These are quite easy to do, so it's not too hard. But I get it, it makes sense. The comment makes sense, I get it 100%. Anyway, so if the fixings come today, we'll see how far we get with it. In the meantime, I've got to sort the front engine bracket out. Yes, I know we had it powder coated, but what sometimes happens with the powder coating, well, not so much the powder coating, the blasting, it can fetch bits out. Like if this was rusty, which good chance it was. This was in 2 pieces, by the way. I welded it together like I do on all the builds. And if the metal's got any weak points, that blasting will fetch it out, which is what sort of happened there. Even where I've welded it and ground it all flush, if the bits are really paper thin, you know, the blaster can fetch them out. So all I'm going to do with this is DA it back and hope we've got enough material left on there, so basically the powder will be acting like a filler. So I dress it back so it's flush with them little dips, and then I can just paint it. So I'm going to do that first. At least then if any fixings turn up, we may get the engine in. But if not, I'm just carrying on with little jobs like this just to keep it rolling. Anyway, let's DA this back and give it a coat of paint. I've done this to a few of them, and yeah, normally it turns out all right. Right, I'll give that a quick coat of paint. It doesn't look the best at the minute because it obviously needs more coats, but I still have a couple of pinholes in there. So I'm going to do try a simple fix on that. It's a lovely day outside, so I'm going to try and blob some paint into them pinholes, pop it outside, let it go off, and just give it one more flat out, and then do a few good coats on there. I think that'll save it. We'll find out. Put my eyes on. Well, that brush ain't the best, is it? Okay, it'll do. I'm flattening it back anyway. So this is probably going to look terrible. Them little holes, well, they're not holes, they're just... Right, I'm going to throw that in the sun, and I think that should do it. Then I'll flat that out and give it a few more coats of paint. Is that one? That'll look better. Right, we've had a couple of bits in the post, but not the bolts to put the engine in. So I've had the new fixings for the oil filter, so I'm going to get that sorted. I'll spin the engine round and get that oil filter in. Right, just before we get on with the oil filter, I found something. Completely forgot I had it. There's probably going to be mixed thoughts on this. I don't know. A carburetor. A Wassel carburetor. I've used these in the past. I've had no trouble at all. They are basically an Amel with a different name on it. Absolutely identical to the Premier Amel, this is. Basically, they've got my shed's. How can my shed be leaking? It's not even raining. It's just dripped on this new carburetor. So yeah, they're basically exactly the same as the Amel. The Amel Premier, because this has got better coatings on the throttle slide. It's got like a hard coating on there. And like I say, absolutely identical. I don't know how to just use that. Totally the same in appearance. And like I say, I have used these in the past and there've been no trouble whatsoever. Plus, I'm not trying to save money on this bike, obviously, because I've gone completely overboard on it with spending. So I'm up to my neck in it anyway. A new Amel, I'm sure they're about 230, 250 quid or something like that. I could be wrong, but I'm sure they're about that price. Last time I went into Hitchcock's, a guy there told me there's been a massive price hike on the Amel carburetors. I thought, oh, great. So yeah, I'm seriously considering putting that on. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. I don't know. Like I say, I've got it, and if it is a little bit of a saving, I'll see what happens. It's one of them. We have gone the extra mile on this build. You could probably look at that and say, no, put an Amel on it. I know some people don't even like the Amels, but you should read everything on the internet. You'll never do anything. But yeah, slightly undecided, but there's no harm in trying it because the appearance is exactly the same. And at this point, it will be a little bit of a saving. There's still quite a lot to throw at the bike. You know, all the little parts, they add up, and obviously there's the paint job. There's hundreds of pounds worth of paint work to be done to it. So we'll see. We'll see how it all goes, and we'll go from there. In the meantime, we'll just get on with it. Anyway, let's do this oil filter. Well, let's get this filter in then. Making sure I've turned my microphone on. I'm terrible for that, leaving it off. Right, let's put the nut on the back first. Washers. And then, in fact, I think I need to freshen that up on the polisher. Let me just go and do that. That's a little bit better. Okay, so we've got the filter soaking in a bit of oil. Let's get the gasket on the back of there, get ourselves all ready so it just all plonks together. That's tight. That's my dirty fingerprints all back over it. We'll get a wipe over when we're done. Right, back nut on. Got the spring, got that. Got washer and seal, washer and seal, that's it. In you go. That's it. Ah. And then then 2 washers, then the spring. Have we got that right? That's tight, isn't it? Well, that's going to be a right pain. Something don't feel right there. Right, I've just popped it all back out. Nothing wrong. Apart from it was the wrong spring. Spring was too long. That's what, well, I couldn't get it on. Right, that's it. Right, pop the back on. Caps in there. 2 washers, then that. That should go on. There we go. That's it. Get some spanners and nip that up. Right, monkey paw print removal. There we go. And another bit done. That's all sorted then. Right, I'm going to try it. I'm going to put that carburetor on, see what it looks like. Personally, I think it'll be okay. I do. Like I say, I'm certainly not trying to cop out spending money on this bike because, yeah, it's cost an absolute fortune, but it's well worth it. So I'm going to try it on, but first I've got to just try and carefully nib the edges here because the powder coating's just overlapping a tiny bit. So I'm going to carefully, probably file it actually, just the very, very edge, just to nib it off. Let me find a little file and try that. Yeah, I'm going to break the edge with a file, then I might have to try and scrape it a little bit with a blade. Clean the surface up a little bit as well. Then that's got it. Right, we'll just spin one knot on for now. Normally they'd have a washer. Obviously a washer will go on when we fit for the final time. And then a bit of an air filter, which I don't think I have got, but we can soon get one of them. We'll just throw this little bow mouth on for now, just for effect. Yes, obviously the air filter will be a bit longer. It'll be just somewhat very similar, a bit longer with the end, with a gauze in the end. Right, that's about as far as I'm going to take it today. I've got to go and do like gardening stuff, push the mower around. I should make that more interesting and make some sort of crazy motorbike with a mower attached to it. That would make gardening fun. Watch this space. Anyway, well, there we are. It's not a lot, but a little bit done, and another step closer to the finish line. I'm happy with that carb. I'm guessing there's going to be some fors and againsts with the Wassel and Amel thing. I get that. Like I say, I have used these in the past, and I haven't had any trouble with them. At the end of the day, you hear people having loads of trouble with Amel carbs. You hear people having trouble with any carbs. But if you dial them in, they're normally okay. I've given the old engine mount another coat there. That just needs another little flat out and another coat, which I'm going to do later. It's still a bit soft, so I'm going to probably pop back in here in between the gardening thing and give that another coat. So it'd be nice if it's all ready, just in case all the new stainless fixings turn up tomorrow, to actually mount the engine into the frame. That'd be a lovely little tick in the box before the weekend comes upon us, and hopefully I'm going to get out for a bit on the bike. The weather's looking good so far, so fingers crossed. It'd be nice to go and blow the cobwebs out. Anyway, thank you all again for watching. Thank you all again for all the support. As always, immensely appreciated. And that'll do. Cheers for watching, guys. Take care.